Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're excited to be here. Jarman International Leadership Chat. I'm your host, Gerald Jarman. I hope you guys had a great week. This is an exciting day, a special time. We have a lot going on in the communities across our nation. However, we want to provide something and give you something educational, positive, upbeat, and so forth. So today, I'm joined by my brother from another mother, Andre Cooper. Today is a little different. Normally I'm, kind of on one of the podcasts with the exception of the session with my son. But today we want to do something a little bit different. And different times we're going to have different leaders from the community to share, impart, share their story, experiences, and so forth. So I started out with somebody who I consider a brother, again, but also who's making a difference in the Harrisburg community. So today, we're going to have a chance to hear from Andre. So, Andre, you want to greet the people for a minute, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, man, how you guys doing? Just happy to be here. It's a privilege to be able to just serve in the community where you grew up in. So, man, I'm just trying to, help out, do my part, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So we're going to hop right into it. Just so you know, those that are viewing, thank you for actually taking the time to view today. Appreciate your support. Thank you to all the followers as well on my German International page. This is going to be a two-part series. Today, we're going to be kind of talking with Andre about some of the things he's doing in the community, some of the work, his influence, and so forth. And then part two will be on Thursday, just to give you a heads up. So we're going to hop right into it. So, Andre, can you share with us your background, your upbringing, so forth in the Harrisburg community, so we can kind of connect the dots to where you're at today?
Yeah, upbringing. One of the things I can just talk about for me is kind of just like it was kind of hectic. I was just kind of going back as I've been growing up. It's like, man, like I moved almost every year as a kid. So it was not a lot of stability. But one of the one rock that was constant in my life was my grandma. Mm-hmm. And so she was really big and influential in my life. But I was like constantly moving, going to different schools, different things like that. I think I was going through it. I went to Lincoln Elementary School. I went to Downey. I went to Foose. I went to Steele School. Went to Camp Curtin.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like this is all like from kindergarten, elementary. You know what I mean? Like before even going to middle, because Harrisburg had one middle school back then. So
wow.
And I even moved down to Atlanta at that time. So like it was a lot of constant change for me. Mm-hmm. So it was hard for me to really dig roots. And then interesting enough is like I just kind of like made contact with my father the first time like last year.
Wow.
And so just kind of looking at that kind of background, there was a lot of instability and hecticness to my life. And so looking back at it, I could see a lot of the things that I was going through was like a search for identity and searching for like who I was. So I was trying to fill myself with all these different things, or trying to be like this group over here, or looking at these guys in the neighborhood and said maybe I should be like that. So it was a lot of just trying to find who I was when I was growing up.
Right. Wow. So it's interesting you share that. You have an understanding looking back on the fact that you was in search of a certain identity. You were, and our young people today are faced with that challenge.
Man, definitely.
Let me say this too, because we have viewers from all around the world. We're actually in central Pennsylvania, Harrisburg community, just so you know, those who are watching from other states. We're actually in Harrisburg community, central PA, the capital. Growing up, Cooper, I know it was tough for you, hopping around and not having a father figure.
Right.
And Father's Day is coming up. So can you touch on, elaborate on that impact, of lack of having a father figure in your life at a young age? How did that,
Yeah, there were guys in my life that, took pieces and filled it there. And that's where I kind of look back and I see, God's hand in my life, where even though like my father wasn't there at that time, there were pieces of guys throughout the community who, were part of my life. My brother's father, my older brother's father, he was there for a portion. And then coaches that I've had, like Coach Dez, like he was around, like he was really big and just getting me through some things, just having something consistent and constant in my life. So there were there were guys who were there that were positive role models that were really big. And so even just looking at like what I do today, I look back and I look at like, if it wasn't for some of those guys, I could have been, lost or out there. And so I look at some of these guys and I saw like, man, they really helped me get past certain points in my life. And so that's kind of like where I'm at, like coming back, to this neighborhood and serving in the community is, I want to be that for guys who were just like me. You know what I mean? So that's been huge.
Right, yeah. So kind of fast forward a little bit, speaking on your career and what you're doing now, did you, so a lot of things you went through kind of motivated you to be doing what you're doing now. So you want to kind of speak on your career, some of your experiences past 5 to 10 years.
But this goes back to, even the moment I gave my life to Christ. Like, I was at a camp in New York. It was called City Vision at the time. And we were there just as support, helping out. And what they did is they took kids from inner city New York and they brought them out, and tried to, mentor them, help them, disciple them, those kind of things. And I was there with my church, from here, and the only thing we were supposed to be doing was like help fix buildings and all that kind of stuff. But I found myself drawn to those kids, and like I was always around them. I was like playing basketball with them. I was like just talking to them. I found myself drawn to those kids, and I really felt at that point, like, this is what God wants me to do. Like, to get back to people who grew up like me, who probably has the same struggles that I do, and really influence them. So like over this past, I've been, and I've been here for 11 years. Now, like, it's really been that way. Like, it's just been the growth of like seeing young guys, not even guys, young ladies too. But I've really had built relationships with some of these young guys that went through this same kind of stuff, where the parent, dad issues, searching for identity, like the struggle between the street and God, and the street and doing well, like fighting through those struggles, and I understand them. So that's really been able, my experiences have been able to help me really, speak into the lives of young people.
Let me ask you this, because you're well experienced when it comes to, working with young people, and this we'll end with this right here. You're well versed, experienced with mentoring and so forth. What would you say to the people who are mentors, who are listening, who are mentors in their own right, in their own way, but maybe they necessarily haven't experienced the inner city culture, but they have a heart to work with inner city? Because there's a misconception or a myth that if you haven't lived it, then you can't impact someone who's there. So is that a myth, or what would you say as we end this and close? What would you say to those people?
Yeah, I would say, man, like, I've heard this saying just this past week actually. It was like, what you lack in experience, make up with intensity. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like you might not have everything, but doesn't mean you can't love somebody. You know what I mean? You might not experience everything they do, doesn't mean you can't sympathize. You might not be able to empathize with them, but you can sympathize, that you can get involved, you can show care and compassion, you can listen.
Right.
Because like even just looking at my situation, like I spent half my life, in the city and half my life out in the suburbs, and so not only have I been able to mentor, young African American, people in the city, I've also been a mentor to white suburban youth. So I didn't grow up like they did, but I still was able to pour into their lives as well, because it's not always about being able to relate. It's just, I care, and I think that's something that people could do. So whatever you don't have an experience, make up with intensity.
Wow. You guys hear that? So you don't have to have the background, you make up with intensity and you move forward and you show that you care. All right. So hope you enjoyed today. That concludes part 1, and we're excited about part 2. thank you for tuning in again. Don't forget, those that haven't, make sure you like my page and follow my page, Gerald International. And hope you guys have a great week. Don't forget my book as well, the Transition Series Volume 1. So, all right, you guys take care. Have a great day. Don't forget somebody is waiting and depending on you.